Good morning. I want to welcome everyone to the Fall Semester 2021 Convocation Ceremony of Andrew College. From an historic standpoint, this is the second virtual convocation. The year 2021 has proven to be one of many firsts, but convocation is a time-honored tradition. Please be seated for now, but plan to stand for the invocation. The annual convocation ceremony indicates the beginning of the academic year. Andrew College is proud to welcome our new freshmen as well as our returning sophomores, returning juniors, and returning seniors. Together, we plan to move forward in our academic pursuits, our goals, and our discovery and exploration of our personal gifts and talents. I personally want to say thank you to our students, to our speaker, and to our faculty and staff for being with us today, virtually and a few in person. Convocation is a beginning for every student and every member of the academic community. I hope you can enjoy your day and your experience at Andrew College. Next, our college chaplain, the Reverend Evelise Quinones, will lead our invocation, followed by President Linda Buchanan, who will welcome you to the new year. Associate Professor of English, Katie Dodrell, will follow Dr. Buchanan. Ms. Dodrell, as our faculty chair, will bring greetings from the faculty. Please stand for the prayer if you are able.
Let's pray. Loving God, as we gather here today, we honor you for your faithfulness. We thank you for the blessing of learning here at Andrew College. In this convocation, we are celebrating and acknowledging you will take care and protect each student, faculty, and staff from this worldwide pandemic as we pursue sound learning, new discoveries, and wisdom. We celebrate, dear Lord, in advance every aspect of our students' life within Andrew College, the knowledge they will acquire, the friendships they will have, and the fulfillment of all their dreams they are carrying in their heart. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Well, good morning. Morning. Or is it? Is it morning? Is it afternoon? Convocation. Some pomp, some ceremony, some formality, Southwest Georgia and COVID style. Convocation, which literally means, paraphrased, to gather in community. In 1970s, a popular commercial, as seen on TV, asked, "Is it live or is it Memorex?" Memorex, for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, was an audio cassette tape. A tape. I know that boggles your mind. A tape. What's a tape? Like Scotch tape? No, a tape. A piece of plastic filament that had two spools, and there were these things called audio cassette players or recorders. They even came in automobiles. Cassette tapes, compact discs. I am mortified to learn that new cars do not come with CD players. What am I supposed to do with all my CDs? Things change. Reality and truth are elusive. Is it live or is it Memorex? Your experience at Andrew is an opportunity not only to obtain a high-quality college education or to obtain professional credentials for those of you who are seeking those, but to meet people, to meet different and new people, to play a sport you love, to expand your mind, your heart, your soul. All of those are possible here, and I invite you to partake in all of that. I urge you specifically, pointedly, especially during the era of COVID, to consider truth versus garbage. Consider reliable sources versus gaslighting. Research is not Google. Repetition does not make something true, and information does not equate to knowledge. An educated person is keen on analysis, critical thinking, the ability, both verbally and in writing, to make a point, justify your rationale, and clearly and convincingly make an argument based on fact or the combination of fact. We convene, we come together to remind ourselves that the pursuit of truth is the reason for our existence as a college and as a country, and within each and every individual here. I bid you welcome to the new academic year.
Good morning. As faculty chair, I offer you greetings from the faculty at Andrew College. For those of you who are new to Andrew College, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. Once again, we are facing a year with changes and challenges brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic, and it's easy to get discouraged by all the difficulties we face. But as always, the beginning of a new academic year brings excitement and hope. A new semester means a new start for all of us. Students, make the most of your college experience. Join clubs, participate in campus events, and get to know your fellow students and professors. Don't be afraid to participate in class or to visit your professors during our office hours. We will always be glad to see you and willing to help you in any way you can, though that doesn't always include giving you extra credit or allowing you to turn in an assignment late. We will hold you to high standards, and we expect the best from you. On behalf of the faculty, welcome to Andrew College, and have a great semester.
Well, thank you for the words of greeting. We very much appreciate them. And now I have the honor of introducing our speaker. Our speaker for today is Mrs. Amanda Knight, Professor of English at Andrew College and Coordinator of Academic Programs and Accreditation. Mrs. Knight has taught at Andrew College since 1999, and this has earned her the coveted role of Faculty Marshal. If you notice, Mrs. Knight brings the mace into the processions and she leads the faculty out of the procession. She has received many honors and awards over her tenure at Andrew College. I am not going to read every award that she has received, but I am going to focus for a minute on her travel, on what she has done as a traveler. In 2004, she took part in a Fulbright Hayes Scholarship. Then in 2010, she undertook the daunting aspect of taking a group of educators to South Korea and China. And she did a magnificent job. This was for a six-week long tour, 3 weeks in South Korea, 3 weeks in China. And she did a great job with the faculty, and I think Mrs. Knight learned that taking students on trips is easier than taking faculty on trips. Is that not correct? But her travels brought her a renewed appreciation for the importance of having new experiences. Now, of course, in this pandemic year, it is harder to travel. It is harder to have these experiences. But as students at Andrew College, we encourage you. We encourage you to reach out beyond your normal borders, to reach out and to get to know the other students here at the college, to get to know faculty, staff, administration at the college, and to reach beyond state borders, and if the opportunity presents, to reach beyond international borders, because that is also part of your education. Professor Knight earned her Bachelor of Science degree in Education from Valdosta State University and her Master of Education from Georgia Southwestern State University. She primarily works on establishing new programs at Andrew College today, and she teaches a class or two every semester, and she works very hard on the college's accreditation requirements and reports. While not working, Mrs. Knight enjoys traveling, playing with her dog Maggie, cooking, gardening, and singing at Dawson United Methodist Church. She and her husband David have a daughter Rachel, who is an Andrew College alumna, class of 2010. Please join me in welcoming Mrs. Amanda Knight as our speaker today.
Thank you very much. I'm honored, President Buchanan and Dean Pittman, for being invited to be this year's Convocation speaker. Welcome to everyone who has come in person, and welcome especially those of you who've tuned in via video. I'd like to say hello to all of the freshmen and all of the sophomores, our alumni, Board of Trustees, community members, my family and friends of college, some of my former students. Hi, Casey Reed. I told you I'd give you a shout out. Thank you all for coming. I teach speech to students as well as English classes, and I'm going to begin my convocation address by doing what I always tell my speech students that they should do as well: get the attention of the audience. Well, I'm going to tell you my most embarrassing experience. Dean Pittman mentioned to you that I attended, that I participated in a Fulbright Hays trip to Lithuania, Latvia, and Russia in 2004. It was during that trip that the most embarrassing thing ever in my life happened to me. I was a part of a group of about 15 faculty from other colleges and Andrew College as well. And we traveled to Lithuania and Latvia first. Now you have to remember that in 2004, the Soviet Union had collapsed about 10 years previous to this. And Lithuania and Latvia were formerly Soviet-held countries. They were part of the Soviet Union. Well, they had reestablished themselves and had gotten independence from Soviet Union, and they were, kind of in shaky stance as a government. They were worried that Russia was going to come back in and take over their country. And when we visited Lithuania and Latvia, we heard all of these stories that were just horror stories about, Russia. And we were really rather hesitant to travel into Russia after having visited those two countries. We went to parks in Lithuania and Latvia where they had the Soviet statues, put away. They were keeping them, for future reference, but, they no longer wanted to have them prominently displayed in the middle of their towns and everything. And we had heard all of these horror stories. So when we got into Russia, we were a little daunted by that. We went to St. Petersburg first. St. Petersburg was wonderful. We discovered that the Russian people were very friendly. If they knew you, They were, just as open and nice as you could hope from somebody from South Georgia. When we traveled to Moscow, however, we got a slightly different feel for that place. It was definitely more Soviet. We still, had that kind of cool greeting from people who were there. While we were in Moscow, we traveled to many different places to see the sights and all of that. And we had this ritual that we would do. We had something called the roommate check. Before we would depart someplace, you'd check and make sure your roommate was on the bus. Roommate check, and then you'd look and you'd see that your roommate was on the bus. Well, we went to this beautiful monastery. Beautiful monastery. I wanted to buy some postcards. I told the person in front of me, I'm buying some postcards, don't let them leave me. They left me. They left me in Moscow. Now I want you to keep in mind that I don't speak Russian. I can't read Russian either. I couldn't speak the language, I couldn't read the signs. And I'm left behind by the tour bus. Well, what do you do when you're left behind by the tour bus on the other side of Moscow from your hotel? Well, let me tell you, you sit around and you wait for an hour for them to realize that they've left you. They don't realize they've left you. I'm not one to just sit there all day and wait for somebody to come and rescue me. So I took things into my own hands. I went to a public park that was right next to this monastery, and I asked 2 young women who were there with their children. I asked young people because I had prepared myself for this trip. I had gone to 2 orientation sessions about the countries that we would visit. I had read my tour guidebooks, and all of this, where they give you all of these tips and things to remember when you travel. And I was told that if you get lost, you need to ask a young person for directions, because young people learn English in their studies. Okay. I also asked women, because of course women were less intimidating than men. So I went up to these 2 young women and I explained to them, first I asked them, do you speak English? Oh, yes. I explained to them what happened. Okay. They take it upon themselves to get me back across town, back to my hotel. My hotel was right next to the Kremlin. The Kremlin, the seat of government. Right next to Red Square, by the way. If I could get to the Kremlin, in which Kremlin in Russian is the same thing as Kremlin in English. So if I could say Kremlin, people would know what I was talking about. I asked them, well, what should I do? They said, well, you can get on the bus. There was a bus stop right here in front of this monastery, right in front of this park. You can get on that bus and then you take like three exchanges and you'll end up, close to, well, I said, oh, no. I can't read the signs. I don't know the language when they say, bus stop, whatever. That was not going to work for me. They recommended that I not take a taxi because I was alone, I was a woman, and corruption was rampant in Russia at the time. Corruption, crime was very, they had a high rate of crime and all of that. The government was still, pretty much establishing itself. So I wasn't going to travel in a taxi with a strange man by myself. Well, they said, well, you could walk. You could go straight down this street right here. This is the street that runs in front of the Kremlin. Okay, so I set off walking. I was wearing my good walking shoes and everything. I set off walking across Russia. All right, I did not, Moscow. It felt like Russia, but it was really Moscow. I pretty much kind of put a frown on my face as I walked, because you didn't walk around smiling, because in Russia, they don't smile like South Georgians do and greet strangers. That would make you look stupid. So I put this frown on my face, this dour expression, and I started walking and put myself in the middle of a crowd. So I'd just walk along with everybody that was crossing the street and all of that. It took me 4.5 hours. 4.5 hours to walk down this one street, and I took a picture of myself. Now keep in mind, this is 2004. I had a camera, yes, things we used to, oh, by the way, cameras, we don't really use those much anymore either. I had a camera, and I took this selfie, turned the camera around and took a picture of myself. Doesn't look all that great. But I wanted to remember this moment because I knew this was one I was never going to forget. I finally made it to the Kremlin, and I felt really pretty proud of myself. I, had this challenge that was dealt to me, and I handled it, by golly. I had a passerby. I handed him the camera, and I said, "Would you take a picture of me?" He did not run off with my camera. I was glad of that. But took a picture of me, and I've got a picture, to remember of my victory over being lost in Moscow. I made it back to the hotel. Everybody was glad to see me. They couldn't believe that I walked. Well, they realized that they had left me behind, about 3 hours later. Anyway, all right, all of that is just to say that I was prepared to meet the challenge. You guys are going to be challenged. You're going to be challenged in your life many times. I had been challenged up to that point. I had learned to teach high school students for 13 years. That'll teach you. That will definitely teach you a lot of survival skills. Any of you high schoolers that are tuning in to see your former English teacher, you know what I'm talking about. I had also taught college students as well. College students are a little more civilized than high school students, yay. I had met the challenge of having some medical issues that my family suffered. We have diabetes in the family, rheumatoid arthritis, stroke, cancer, dementia, all of those things, I've had to deal with. I've had to deal with challenges in personal relationships, professional issues. I have tried to prepare myself well for the future. I tried to prepare myself well for that trip, and I was able to meet the challenge. Well, this is my message to you today. You need to begin preparing yourself for tomorrow's challenges today. You do not know what's going to come in the future, and you need to be ready for it. I know that the world seems to be such a terrible place right now, but things will get better. Things will get better. I know that we have a lot of troubles right now. The Bible tells us that troubles will always be with us. We will always have troubles. But we seem to be overwhelmed with issues right now. I know we have COVID. We're all dealing with that, with the isolation and the quarantine and all of that. We have climate change. We have political unrest. We have social issues. We have high rates of anxiety and depression. All of these things, are challenges that we're being, dealt today. But I remember back in the 60s when I was a kid. I was a little kid. Okay, I was born in 1962. Back in the 60s, we had similar challenges. Instead of COVID, we all had to line up in the elementary school and get smallpox vaccines. We had measles. We had polio that we were still worried about. We had social issues. The Vietnam War was going on. My daddy went off to Vietnam, and I remember when he came home. There were some people that supported the Vietnam veterans. There were others who did not. That was tearing, our country apart. We also had assassinations. We had the Kennedy brothers that were assassinated, Bobby Kennedy and John Kennedy. You guys have heard of those, haven't you? Nod your heads, yes, yes. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. All of those things were going on. We had the civil rights era going on during the 60s. We had all kinds of societal unrest. You think that all of this has just happened now? We had the Cold War, between the West and the East and Russia and the United States. We had the Cuban Missile Crisis. Kids in my day, we used to hide under the desks because we were going to be bombed, with nuclear weapons. All of these things happened, during my lifetime. Things got better. Things are going to get better again. But you need to be ready to meet the challenges of tomorrow by preparing yourself today. You're here for a reason. You're here on earth for a reason. You are here at Andrew College for a reason. God has a plan for you. You don't know what it is. Nobody does. But You need to prepare yourself for whatever God has in store for you by challenging yourself. You have God-given gifts and talents that God expects you to use for the betterment of mankind, for the betterment of your family, for the betterment of yourself and your community. You are expected to contribute. God expects that of you. Think about how your gifts can be used in your career. I had a talk with the freshmen. I think about half the freshmen showed up. The other half, I don't know where they went. I had a talk with about half the freshmen about how choosing your major is really important. You need to gear your choice of major based upon the strengths that you already have, the gifts and the talents that you've been given naturally, so that you can excel in the field that you choose. You can be mediocre in some other field, or you can really excel in the field that you choose because it comes naturally to you. Now's the time for you to discover those gifts, for you to discover your gifts and talents and steer your life toward using those. Think about how your gifts can be used, for the good of your family, for your community, all of that. One student here at Andrew College has definitely taken advantage of the challenges and opportunities that we offer here at Andrew College. That student is sophomore Noah Barcelona. He is a visual arts major. He's planning to graduate in the spring, but right now, Noah is in South Korea. Noah applied when we advertised last spring about a scholarship that was offered through the Korean government to come on a full scholarship to South Korea to study. He applied and he won that scholarship. Noah right now is in Daejeon, South Korea. He's having to go through quarantine right now, but he's going to be attending classes this week at Peiche University. Full ride, paid for by the Korean government. I interviewed Noah just yesterday. Here's Noah.
Hi, Noah. It's good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. How was your flight to Korea?
It was good. I watched some movies and they fed me. I slept a lot, but other than that, pretty uneventful, and uneventful is what you want when you're flying. So
Absolutely right. I know that whenever you fly, you get to catch up on the latest movies, the ones that haven't even been released, to the movies yet, or that kind of thing. So good. I'm glad your flight went well. Well, tell us, your classmates are watching this, the freshmen and sophomores are watching this. Tell them, why did you want to go to Korea?
I thought it was an amazing opportunity, and I really just couldn't pass it up. There's a very rich culture and history here for me to be able to experience, and I thought that it's like the opportunity of a lifetime to be able to go while I'm young and do things and learn the language. So.
Great. I know that you were awarded the rank of Eagle Scout while you were still in high school. Did that experience help you prepare to go off on an adventure like this?
It definitely helped my communication skills and my writing skills a lot, which helped me get the scholarship that let me come here.
Yay, good. Oh, well, how have the people there in Korea been for you? Have they been pleasant? Do they speak English?
Everyone speaks English, perfect English. So I got off the plane and everyone's super nice. They super polite as they helped me get through like the quarantine test to get me into the quarantine facility. It was about a 2-hour drive from Seoul to Daejeon, and my taxi driver, super nice, very talkative. The first thing he said to me was, "You are very tall." And and that's been a common theme here is people look at me and tell me that I'm very tall. So I also met a girl from Norway who's in the same scholarship as me. Her flight happened to land at the same time as me, so we got to take our taxi ride at the same time, so that was pretty cool.
Good. So everybody's been nice and polite, and I mean, even strangers that you see?
Yes, everyone has been super nice and super polite. So
Great. Well, what classes are you taking?
I'm taking Korean language, level 1 right now. I'm taking Korean culture, which I imagine is going to have some history elements and some like here's how we do things around here elements, as well as an art class.
Excellent. Good, good, good. What would you say to one of your classmates who might be thinking about perhaps doing the same thing?
I'd say go for it. It's an excellent opportunity. Do it while you're in school because it's much cheaper to do it while you're in school. And you get to meet all sorts of people because you'll have classes with them. So if you go by yourself, you're kind of out there in the world and you might have trouble making friends or meeting people if you're just staying in a hotel. But now I have peers that I can connect with and make new experiences with while I'm here.
Right. Do it while you're young. Absolutely. I can speak to that one. It's much more expensive and it's much more difficult when you get older. You don't have you have more responsibilities, and you should take advantage of this while you can. Well, would you like to give a shout out to anybody at Andrew College?
I'll give a shout out to Professor Johnson and the art majors, Melanie Burnett and Andrew Serves, my buddy Jackson Bickford. I don't know them yet, so hello freshmen. And a big thank you to you for helping me get here.
Well, you are really welcome. I'm very excited that you're there, and I look forward to hearing about all of your adventures over there. And I'm thrilled that I was able to help you get there. Well, I'll say goodbye now, Noah. You take care, and we will see you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
You too can take advantage of opportunities like Noah has here at Andrew College. We've got lots of opportunities that students just, they don't take advantage of when they really should. One of them, of course, is the exchange program that we have with Peiche University. Any of our students, if you have a grade point average of at least 3.0 and are, an upstanding student on the campus, you can participate in an exchange program to South Korea. If you are interested in that, I'm the contact person, Amanda Knight at andrewcollege.edu. It's on the website. You can apply, and I'll make sure that we do our very best to get you there. We have that opportunity, the exchange program. We also have Andrew Serves, the opportunity to go and learn through service. They often send out invitations to join Andrew Serves students, to volunteer, to go and do service elsewhere in the community. We have the Career Services Office, where we have all kinds of opportunities for you to learn about writing resumes, doing things like learning to cook, tying a tie, all kinds of things that you may not know now, but you may be challenged in the future and you may need to know that. Take advantage of these opportunities. There are honors classes every semester that's offered. Honors classes that you don't have to be a PTK member to take. You have to have a good GPA, but challenge yourself, not to just, pass with maybe a C. Challenge yourself to excel. Prepare today for tomorrow. The more you challenge yourself, the more knowledgeable you'll become, the more self-confident you'll become, the more capable you will be, and the more valuable you will be in the future. New experiences make you better and wiser. And a better, wiser you can take on life's challenges and contribute to a better future. So, when you are called on by God to meet challenges, you'll be able to say, "Here I am, Lord. Send me." Like the song says, "Here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord? I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart." So prepare yourself today for tomorrow's challenges.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Knight, for a timely presentation, a challenging speech. We appreciate your being here and you sharing your knowledge with our students and to help us start our beginning at Andrew College at this special ceremony. Now, the next portion of the program, the Alma Mater, will be sung by Professor Amanda Knight and played by Assistant Professor of Music Dan Colin. I don't know if you can see Dr. Colin or not, but he is providing our music. After the Alma Mater, the Reverend Evelise Quinones will give the benediction, and then we will have the recessional. Thank you all for being here today, and as I said at the beginning, I look forward to a great year with all of you. Thank you.
Now, I don't want to be the only one singing the Alma Mater, so please join me. The words are in your program. Where the spires of old Cuthbert pierce the southern blue, proudly stands our Alma Mater, noble, grand, and true. Blue and gold float forever, bright our colors shine. Hail to thee, our Alma Mater, hail to Andrew mine. As our classic halls of learning, so thy worth appears, and thy memory still shall linger through life's smiles and tears. Lift the chorus, wake the echoes, make the welkin ring. Hail the Queen of all the Southland, loud her praises sing.
And again, Lord, as we live with confidence, knowing you will continue to bless and maintain us safe, healthy, and strong for a great 2021 fall term. Go in peace, go knowing that all of us are imprinted in God's hand. Amen.